And here we go, guys. Let's dive right in. Start on the weekly, guys. We talked about this last week, this big engulfing candle. It is a bullish reversal pattern. We already had some nice tweezer bottoms here. Um, nice little reversal here. Nice little huge bullish candle here on the weekly. So that's just a huge bullish sign. Crossed the MA, tested the other MA. I'm always looking for retests, guys. So we didn't really get that. Once we become bullish, this thing usually takes off. Not saying the retest can't happen, but I'm always looking for stuff like this. When we see big candles explode like this, the next candle usually comes down about 50% and then takes off back the other way. So that still could happen here. We could just be getting a nice little bullish explosion over the weekend and then come back down, test before we could see some more upside. Kind of excited about little things that are happening here, guys. I'm always looking for possible trend lines, possible reactions to the market. You got some stuff here on the weekly, very powerful. You got one touch, two touch, three touch break, and this looks like a perfect retest right here, guys. If you can see that. So I'm always looking for different things to let me see what I think the market could do. There's always market manipulation going on. People always want, the people with big money, the guys at the top always want the guys at the bottom to think the market's going one way. That way they can feed off our losses. So I always look at every picture. I always look at every chart. I always, just analyze as much as I can about the candles that are coming up and about what has happened in the past. So that always tends to help me when I'm looking into the future. So if we just pull down this weekly chart just a little bit more, I do want to show you how we did get a one touch, two touch break right here. Okay. And then we get a perfect on the weekly retest of this broken trend line. So now we're seeing a possible break back to the inside. Okay. But as you can see, since this weekly candle stopped just about pinpoint to where we needed it to on the weekly, maybe this could completely fail and head back to the downside. We're going to have to see how this week's candle starts to act. Could it go way up here and create an opposite of this candle? See, these candles are just evil, guys. These things will, break you or make you if you play them right. I try to stay away from them until they form, and then once they're over with, I try to enter. So we could see a huge wick here. We could see just another huge candle to the upside, guys. So I don't try to speculate. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with this. I am still bearish at this point. I have always been very bearish as we've been talking to guys, and since we've known each other, I've always been pretty bearish in the market. I am to the point now where I'm questioning where we are going to cross back into the bullish area, and we're going to discuss more of that right now. So one thing I want you guys to check out is, as you can notice, what happens on the left happens on the right, and we got a perfect head and shoulder pattern here. Remember, we call this head and shoulder when none of this was here. This candle wasn't here, none of this was here, and we saw this trend line breaking, we saw the wedge pattern, and then we said, hey, we can get a possible beautiful head and shoulder pattern right here. That played out. We also said, if we got a head and shoulder, this thing could play out all the way to 7,800. The reason we picked that number is because of the daily chart. The daily chart here is 7,800 for the MA heading down that area. Also, that is where this area had some resistance. So if you look at here, we got the 7,800 being fulfilled as of yesterday. Okay, can we see a mimic of the left side? Very possible. Can we see a complete breakout and continue to this bullish zone? Because as you can see, guys, I have this here. Okay, this is my bullish zone. If I cross this area here, this 8,000, I'm completely bullish. I won't be selling anymore unless it's short term. I'll be looking for buying opportunities all over the market, which I already am, because as you guys can see, low volume coins that have not been pumped or have been pumped once, that have bottomed out, are ready to be pumped again when the market is showing bullish signs like it is right now. Altcoins is where the money is, unless you got a ton of cash or you're margin trading. Altcoins is where the huge returns are, unless you got 50 Bitcoin and you're trading in and out, or like I said, you're margin trading. So can this play out, guys? Can we see this play out back to the bottom side here at 7,000 before absolutely exploding? I'd be totally pumped about that, guys, because if that happened, it would show some real support. Because as you can see, this 200 would be working its way perfectly up to this area. By the time this just completely fell or just worked its way down, kind of like this, on here on the left side, um, we would see this MA meet in this area. And if we saw that, it would just be more confluence and more confirmation that we have found some serious floor. We found some in here because there's consolidation over here. So we found some good floor right in here. But I would love to see it come down here, retest this area, and then completely explode to the upside and just blast through 78 to 8,000 area and just 10,000, 11,000s in our sights. That's what I'm looking for. Is that going to happen? I do not know right now, but I'm looking for that. As you can see, I'm always a big guy of looking to the left to see what may play out to the right. I always use the word may because in crypto, nothing is for certain. We have huge volatility, way bigger than the Forex market or stock market. You know, this volatility is serious business, and you guys got to be ready for anything at any given time. So let's look a little more. Let's look at this daily chart. So right here, you can see the trend line was broken to the downside. We started getting some upside, or you can say the structure was broken. Head and shoulder played out, a reversal pattern, huge reversal pattern right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, break of neckline. Structure's now broken, which means we have upside. We found a level here. We found a first level. So initially, we should see a second and a third level come in here, maybe even a fourth sometimes. But I would love to see that downside play. If I can see this hit this MA perfectly, and then just come down a little bit, maybe find some ground in this 7,000 area, I'd be super happy. If it didn't happen and it exploded and closed with a daily closure above this 200 MA, I have no reason to not be extremely bullish, to, get into my altcoins, to look at the market a whole different way, because being bearish and being bullish are two different game plans for me. I trade differently, I look at the market differently, and I take my profit differently. So, with that said, like I said, if we get a break in above this 200 MA with this daily candle, we are looking extremely bullish. If not, I am looking for this retest back down to 7,000 in this area to see if we can get that nice footing for Bitcoin to find some legs. And again, guys, I'm always looking for different things. I showed you this a while ago. This is just very suspect to me. When you see something like this play out, when you see a trend line, when you see that 1, 2, 3 bounce, that 1 area, 2 area, 3 area break, third area is always break or bounce. We're going to bounce hard or we're going to break hard, okay? That did happen. We never saw that retest, guys, okay? Now we're seeing that retest, and it also is pinpoint perfect right here, plain as day, on top of the 200 MA on the very powerful daily chart. So that should give you guys something to take a peek at, okay? Things don't just meet up like this for no reason. We also have some nice daily resistance. I mean, boom, right here, in this area, right here. 7,800 is a big point to get through. It's going to either break back inside this trend line and take off, or we're going to see some downside play. If we see some downside play, I'm not saying it's going to fall, but I would love to see some retest and some ground in this area. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not trading it right now. I'm looking at a lot of different altcoins. Key looks like it's getting ready to be pumped again. I don't know how many of you guys caught the last key pump. We're going to mention some different things here and there, but I mean, you guys should be buying up these serious coins that we've mentioned in our webinars, like ZRX, GNT, some of my favorites. I love those programs. I love those those cryptos. So looking at a lot of these different things, get your favorites folders set up, set some alerts on different crypto. That way you don't have to be staring at the market, guys. You should have a big, huge favorites folder and have alerts set up on all these different crypto on your Blockfolio or your coin stats or whatever you use, guys. Load up on these crypto, set some marks. If the cryptos break these certain areas, you should know about it. Your app should tell you about it. You should jump in to these trades, guys, because Bitcoin does have some legs. I would love to see us, like I said, get this retest in here and then bounce right back up to the upside. But we will see what happens, guys, on a shorter term. I always show you guys that I like to look at this from a box standpoint. If I get consolidation, consolidation is when Bitcoin moves sideways. You can buy, you can sell, or you can go sideways. Okay, so I draw it from the lowest to the highest point. If I break out of either side, I usually trade that way. Even though I'm not going long right here, I'm not going to trade those set of rules right now because I'm just too unsure of what Bitcoin's going to do. If I had to make an analysis right now, I would say that Bitcoin's going to spike and then create an immediate downside. And I'm looking for a nice little retest down here. Might not happen, guys. We could see it bust right back above that daily MA, close above that daily MA, and then take off to the upside. But guys, if I had to make an analysis right now and I had to make a guess, I would say we're going to see a nice little spike up, turn into a wick, fall to the downside, something like this one right here. This particular candle, I think something like that's going to happen. There's going to be some manipulation where people are going to start going long. They're going to see 8,000 broken. They're going to see 7,800 broken. And then they're going to start buying like crazy. We're going to see that manipulation, and then we're going to get a complete fail. Retest, which is what really is going to happen, because if we're looking for bullish, it doesn't matter if it falls to here. We're still going to be in this trade. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it gets to here, because if we're bullish and we're buying Bitcoin on these exchanges, and this isn't talking about margin trading, then who cares if it falls to 6,700 from 7,700? Who cares about that? We're going to hold these positions for the long term to where Bitcoin goes to 20, 30,000 if you guys are trading that way. But for you short-term traders, I think we're going to see some manipulation in here. I think we're going to see some downside. We're going to see something down here. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what you guys should keep an eye out for. I hope I help with this. I hope you see just a little bit of insight on what could happen. On this last little chart right here, we'll bring up the fact that we do see some breaking above all these wicks. The wick, this long manipulation wick, has been fulfilled. We could see some continued upside, guys, and this thing could just absolutely blast off. So keep an eye out. This is a crazy area for me right now. I know other traders might be more certain, but after what's played out over the weekend and the last couple of days, I'd like to see what the traders are doing on this Monday before I really make any major moves.